Didn't mean to jump scare you there. So now we're back. We're going to go ahead and move into our foam rolling section. This is probably going to be our shortest portion. Again, this will be a separate video. So foam rolling, I do it every day. Think about foam rolling, it's a little different from stretching. So they say that when you're actively foam rolling an area, you really don't want to spend any longer than 15 seconds, only because it really doesn't do like any extra, it doesn't really give you any extra benefit. That being said, if you have an area that's sore or it's got a buildup or a knot, you can, I guess, like kind of rest on that area. So like if you're rolling your leg, you kind of rest the pressure there. Now, the reason I brought up lacrosse ball at the beginning of the video, or baseball, or anything but a hockey puck, the reason I brought that up is because what you can do is you can take a sock and you can take two of those balls and you can throw them in the sack or the sock. And what you can do is you can now have a smaller, more precise, and definitely a more pinpoint roller. Now, if you don't have access to one of these or you don't have one, I have used a Gatorade bottle. You can use a Hydro Flask. You can use some sports balls, soccer balls, stuff like that. But like I said, I do recommend getting a foam roller above everything else. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and start here. So I hope I'm in frame here. So the first thing I do is I'm going to go ahead and foam roll my calves, okay? Now, I've built up a resistance to this. I've foam rolled for a long time. So what I like to do is I like to cross my legs over and then pick my butt up so I have all the weight on my calf. Now, if you can't do that, you can leave your butt as much as you can on the ground and you can use this leg as support until you get there. But I'm going to go ahead and do it how I know how. So you're going to go ahead and roll your calf here. I like to go right to kind of the edge of your shoe, lower part of your leg, right up to the knee. Alright? And rotate a little bit so you can hit all the calf. Okay, go ahead and swap legs. Again, try not to spend longer than 15 seconds because it's really just not beneficial. Alright? So now you've rolled your calves. I'm going to go ahead and move up to my hamstrings, back of my legs. Same thing. And go ahead and swap. And after you've done that, I'm going to specifically roll my glutes. You're going to get under one side. You're really going to roll your butt, alright? Just like that. And if you want to focus on getting, if you have any pain here or tightness in your hip, from the IT band I referenced earlier, what you can do is you can take this leg that's being rolled and kick it over your knee, alright? And now what you're going to do is you're going to rotate to where you're rolling almost your hip, okay? This is how I recommend rolling your hip, that IT band. So go ahead and swap and do both sides there. I'm not going to, just for this video. Then you're going to go ahead and place it down here. I'm going to roll the side of my shin here. That's usually where I get tightness from like my lower leg injuries and stuff. So you're going to go ahead and roll here. Now if you can't put your weight here, what I recommend is crossing your leg over and using it as a support like this. Okay? If you can, do this. Then you're going to roll it up. Go ahead and roll your quad here. Side of your quad. And again, if you can't do this, go ahead and use that leg on the ground. Alright, now that you've rolled that, we're going to go ahead and move to rolling the front of our shin. This will be painful. I don't put all the pressure on there, but this is really essential for building your bone density. Immediately, kind of like a fighter who strikes a tree with their leg. This is really going to build your lower leg density, prevent things like shin splints. So you go ahead and start here. I recommend just doing it in this position. Getting your shin on that foam roller and rolling your shin. Alright? Go ahead and swap legs if you want. Now we're going to go ahead and roll the front of our quad. Just like this. Alright? And if you want to deepen this one, what you can do is you can pick this leg up and keep rolling. Just like that. So that concludes the leg portion of the foam roll. We're going to go ahead and roll our back here real quick. And then it'll be done. So I do is I start the foam roller here, my lower back, okay? I pick my butt up. I'm going to roll all the way to my shoulder blades, nice and slow. And what you can do is you can play with holding air in your lungs or letting it out. So you can feel it crack. okay? And then from here, I'll reach one arm up, and then I'll swap. I'll swap back, okay? So that's a pretty good one. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll all the way to my neck, and I'll kind of let it rest here for a second. I'll set my butt down, all right? Then I'm gonna look up. Do it 3 to 5 times, okay? When you're coming up, you're going to let all your air out. So you're gonna, all right? Inhale all the way down, and then, all right? Now what you want to do is you're gonna move down a little bit. Bring your hands behind your head, and let your air out on the way down. Opposite this time, okay? So it's, and then inhale on the way up, and then. Inhale all the way up. Now you're going to move down just a little bit more, okay? And you're going to repeat this process, okay? Until you get to about your mid-back, just to where the backside of your rib cage stops, okay? So it's, remember, hands behind your head. Exhale. And then come up. All right, you're going to keep going until you get it right about here, okay? This is seriously my favorite part. What it's going to do is it's going to open up your T-spine, so if you have any sort of upper back pain, seriously can't recommend it enough. So after I do that all the way down to that spot I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and stand up again on my feet. I'm going to roll my back one more time, okay, just for good measure, and then I'm done. Now, you can roll your triceps, your forearms, stuff like that. Personally, I don't, but feel free to explore. Like what works for me may not work for you, vice versa. So, I mean, knock yourself out, go crazy with it. I seriously can't recommend foam rolling enough. I love it, but pretty much that's all I do for foam rolling. I recommend it every day. So there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video and we'll move into my ground stretching portion. Maybe.